Hello wine lovers, Matthew here from Simply Spanish Wine for another tasting video. And today we're looking at Bespén Blanco by Luis Olivan, a delicious, beautifully fresh, dry Chardonnay with good acidity and texture and a bit of body, thanks for its time on the lees. So let's crack it open and see what it tastes like. A little bit about the winery and the winemaker. Luis Olivan, now Luis began his wine career actually on the commercial side. He worked for a long time for lots of different wineries, started off in his home province of Huesca in the foothills of the Pyrenees, and he then moved further south down into Aragon in the 1990s. Then he crossed the country over to Bierzo in northeast Spain, where his focus, of course, was on Godello and Mencía, those two star grapes over in Bierzo. And he then moved down to the Gredos Mountains, just west of Madrid, where he worked alongside famous Garnacha expert Isabel Galindo, who's the head winemaker at a brilliant winery called Las Moradas de San Martín. Now, with all that pedigree behind him, in 2018, Luis decided he'd had enough consulting and he wanted to actually get his hands dirty and make his own wine. So he changed tack, started his own project, Luis Olivan Viñedos y Bodegas. And from the outset, he was looking for vines in historic areas that in Italy perhaps would be called classico, sites or parcels where records show that vines have been planted for a long time, at least from before phylloxera at a time. Because all of that longevity usually is a pretty good guide that the site is right for sort of optimum vine cultivation. Now, Luis describes himself as a terrain hunter. He seeks out small vineyard parcels ready to be cultivated. The first parcel he chose was Las Pilas in Bespén in Huesca, which is an area with a wine history dating back for centuries, back to the 12th century in fact, and he's then expanded his range. He makes lots of single vineyard wines and also the Bespén range of wines, which he makes in Bodegas La Sierra. Now, Bodegas La Sierra is a family-run winery. It's been farming vineyards in the area around the village of Bespén for more than 200 years. And this wine, Bespén Blanco, this is a Chardonnay. It's 100% Chardonnay in the current vintage. Now, Chardonnay perhaps is a grape you wouldn't automatically associate with Spain, but in fact there are about 11,000 hectares planted here in places like Castilla-La Mancha, Catalunya, Aragon and Navarra. Now, this wine, Bespén Blanco, is made manual harvested at night to make the most of the cooler temperatures, and the grapes are then taken to the winery. They get destemmed and crushed a little just to break the skins and get the juices flowing. And the grapes then undergo a 5-hour cold maceration before the must gets racked off or siphoned off and fermented for 10 days at a very carefully temperature controlled 16 degrees centigrade. And once that's finished, it spends 3 months on its lees in inox or stainless steel tanks before it's bottled. Now, if you're a Chardonnay fan already, you'll be familiar with its slightly chameleonic reputation. In other words, its ability to really soak up the influence of wherever it's planted, or indeed what the winemaker actually does with the wine in the winery. Now, here it's lovely and fresh and dry. It's got a nose of white fruits, it's like pears, touch tropical in there perhaps. On the mouth, that's beautifully acidic, very, very fresh. You're still getting that white fruit coming through. It's got a medium finish. That's a delicious wine. I think that would go very well with a whole range of things like pasta. It would even be put up with pasta with creamy sauces, I think, vegetable dishes, grilled chicken, things like that. If you're a Chardonnay fan and you've been drinking Chardonnay from lots of other countries, but you haven't yet tried one from Spain, this is a really great option. It's fantastic value. It's available now on our Simply Spanish Wine website, one of our new wines, Bespén Blanco. This is the 2022 vintage from Luis Olivan up in Dio Somontano in northeast Spain. Cheers. Look forward to seeing you again soon.